if I were in charge, top person, public servant in Louisiana, this would be the last thing I'd be thinking about. I have so many other things to do. Aren't you like the poorest in the union, or is that Mississippi? You're rivaling them, let's say. But hey, this is at the top of your priority list. New Louisiana law requires schools to display 10 commandments. Louisiana requires all public classrooms to display, which we should all be ascribing to, right? Because that's what this country was founded on. Are you kidding me? Governor Jeff Landry. Not much else to do on your list, huh? Signed legislation on Wednesday requiring the display of the 10 commandments in every public classroom in Louisiana. Louisiana is the only state with a law even remotely close to this one for now. Governor Landry says he's ready to be sued. Bring it on. I'm going home to sign a bill that places the 10 commandments in public classrooms, boasted Landry during a Republican fundraiser on Saturday. And I can't wait to be sued. Well, that's a good use of taxpayer dollars. Let me pass this thing that is so cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, so nutty, and then beg to be sued. Are you going to pay for the lawyers? Oh, that's right, the taxpayers will. The taxpayers who don't even want this because they know it's not right. Landry followed through with his promise, signing the bill Wednesday, declaring, quote, if you want to respect the rule of law, you've got to start from the original lawgiver, which was Moses. Who do you pray to? What do you believe? And does the governor even care? Apparently, this is what our founding fathers wanted, right? Is that what it was, Fran? They wanted to mix church and state. Do I have it right, or have I missed it? I'm confused now. Is that what they wanted? They wanted all of this to be, and it's only one God that you pray to, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't pray to a God, well, that's, oh well.
With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show.
They wanted it to be called the Sturch instead of a state and church. It is Sturch, but it didn't sound so good. So they just like, fine, we'll separate church and state, but only because Sturch didn't sound good.
Yeah.
But then they were like, what about Chate? And Chate is weird. Chate sounds like some sort of like venereal disease. Let's not do that. No, the founding fathers explicitly were fighting for religious freedom. Remember, the founding fathers, the United States was founded by a bunch of religious minorities that wanted to go practice their religion separately. Yes, it was within the umbrella of worshiping like a Christian God or whatnot, but it was a different religion. This is the whole principle of this country, was like, we want to worship a little bit differently. And hey, maybe we should have religious freedom broadly. Isn't that good? And like this whole idea that like, I think that like originalists and these people feel like they invoke the founding fathers because somehow if the founding fathers knew about a Muslim, they'd be like, oh, and they'd be like, okay, no, it's a Christian nation. It's like, no, like our founding fathers would be that terrible. Maybe they would be, who knows? But here's the thing. There was a separation of church and state. There's a reason that we have a separation of church and state. And yes, sadly, we have in God we trust on our money. And sadly, we have in the Pledge of Allegiance under God. There's already a fair amount of church in that state, but this is just, and it's, Sharon, it's all symbolic. It means nothing. It's just putting this up to, again, to groom everyone's brain for some sort of Christian nationalism and a unified, hegemonic way of thinking and homogenous way of thinking. Obviously, to make anyone who doesn't practice Christianity to be afraid. And of course, this is at a time when we're talking more about anti-Semitism, around Islamophobia. And sadly, the anti-Semitism that we're actually talking about only comes in the form when we talk about Israel, but actually look at this anti-Semitism here. Isn't it a little bit bigoted to be putting up the 10 Commandments? So anyway, although I don't know. I'm like, Moses was a Jew.
As governor.
Go ahead, yes.
No, I would say as Governor Landry says, you need Moses and the law of Moses. And that's what he believes. And it's interesting because when you talk about Christianity, I don't know. And again, I went to vacation Bible study, was it? That was so many decades ago. I don't remember much. Probably didn't like it that much. It had nothing to do with religion, but I just didn't want to be doing this camp. I don't know the Bible inside out, but I'm guessing there's nothing in there that talks about how much you're hating on people and wanting to hurt other people. I thought that there were some principles there. You're not supposed to do that. Supposed to help people, feed people, love people. I think I'll try to read it again after I do some other things. So Landry is going to get his wish. Well, I don't have time to keep reading this book, and I have to read it several times. And I feel bad about saying that.
It's not easy. That's why people do.
Yeah, I don't understand. So I got to read it 2 or 3 times.
You got to put in a lot of work to read the Bible over and over. You're like, these old his interpretation of God.
I'll watch the movie or something when I get around to it.
Just do Jesus Christ Superstar. It'll be fine.
Is that going to do it?
Yes.
Well, I'll maybe check it out. Then I hope I don't fall asleep. I haven't been sleeping well. The ACLU, though, is going to go ahead and give Governor Landry his wish. We're suing Louisiana for requiring all public schools to display the 10 Commandments in every classroom, announced the American Civil Liberties Union on Wednesday. Public schools are not Sunday schools. Media like with the details there. That does seem pretty simple, right? Sunday school's on Sunday, and it's not mandatory. If you live in a certain house, it might be, but for others, it's not mandatory. You can do whatever you want. Go to the farmer's market. You don't have to go to Sunday school. So what are you talking about? California Governor Gavin Newsom even chimed in on the debate. Louisiana has the worst crime rate in the nation, but this is their priority, reacted Newsom. And see, that's what I'm talking about. Before we get around to this nonsense, Governor of Louisiana, don't you have other things to do? I have so many things to do, Fran. I have to take my car in to get service. The little hazard light keeps coming on its own. I have to clean up around here. I have to take a nap, pick up a prescription.
And if you're the governor of a state, you have to make sure that the education system is doing well. I mean, honestly, like I'm going to go on a limb and say Louisiana's education system not in the top 10 in terms of states that are doing all that great, right? It's like, why not improve public education more broadly? And this is the difference. It's like, if you truly believe, if you want your child to have a religious education, you can send them to a school where nuns are doing the teaching, right? Like you can go to a private school. You can require them, to like only learn about like Adam and Eve and no sexual education. Like you can make that choice. Republicans love to pretend that there's no school choice. It's like, that's BS. There is school choice. You can absolutely go to a private school. Often they're going to be more expensive, which is a little bit ironic considering they're run by religious people. Yeah. Shouldn't that be free? Anyway, but yeah, this is, we laugh at this, but I am very afraid that the future holds a lot more of this, a lot more 10 Commandments being displayed in public schools. And if this ever goes to the Supreme Court, we know how they're going to rule.
Yeah. The guy in the RV, the other guy with the upside down flag, the McFoamy mouth guy, okay? And occasionally the other woman who joined him and spread COVID everywhere. I'm not saying she did it deliberately, but at her event at the White House, COVID spread everywhere. Okay, Justice Barrett, it was crazy. Everybody got COVID? Come on. Yeah. So they will do what they do. And apparently there is no bottom. They're going to keep going with this nonsense, even though Governor Gavin Newsom, with his perfect hair, is right. They have a horrible crime there. It's everywhere, like we said in the last little segment. But you have other things that you should be doing, Governor. Nice fake out, nice distraction, though, and nice waste of money. Not. You're scaring us, and something's got to be done about this. I'll give you the last word, Fran.
No, I think you've said it all. I think we covered it. We'll see how far this gets, but I don't know. Why else? Why do you want the 10 Commandments up there? So you can see how many like Donald Trump has violated? Why now?
I mean, the judge said, listen, stop with you raped, you defrauded. He did a lot of things.
Committed adultery.
I don't have the list. And maybe
you covet all the time. What's funny is that if Trump is the president again, it will be the 10 Commandments and then Trump's face next to them, because the president's face is often displayed in public schools. So
maybe that is it. Or he wants to, I don't know what he wants to do. But I am going to now look at, I don't know it by heart, so there. I'm going to look it up after the show, and I'm going to check off each one that he did violate, and I'm sure it's plenty. Okay?